Good morning of day 4. So this is our little backcountry campsite off the hiking trail. This is that big tree that blew down. There's our little fire pit. And then there's the lake. I don't remember the name of this lake without looking at the map. Spin around, there's the tent. And then there's our food hung up in the tree. I'm gonna get that down and make a cup of coffee. And then that is the trail that goes back to the trail. We will get that on in a little bit. It rained last night, off and on. It's much cooler this morning, cloudy. So hopefully the rain stops, at least while we can get packed up. So morning day 4, we're in the middle of the hiking trail. So we got kind of a quick breakfast here. So I've got a pot of boiling some water, and then over here I've got some oatmeal with raisins and some protein powder. And then from there I've got my Medaglia d'Oro instant espresso. As I wait for that water to boil, then I'll get the oatmeal going and then wake the boy up so we can start towards packing up and getting out of here. Feeling pretty good. Bottoms of my feet were pretty sore yesterday, but they feel fine now. My left knee is bothering me just a little bit. So it's a good thing we made those hiking sticks, because that really did help a couple times. One time I did not film it, I forgot. But we had to cross over a beaver dam. That was pretty cool. And the sticks really helped there for balance and stuff. Other little like log crossings and whatnot. But that beaver dam for sure. Because it was probably a good, 20 feet, 25 feet long. Literally just walking on top of the beaver dam across the, there's a drop off, about 6 foot drop off into like a little stream and then a lake on the other side. So pretty wild. Yeah. So that is water right out of the lake. So I'm gonna let that boil for a little bit, for at least 1 minute. Get that coffee going and my oatmeal. We are packed up and ready to go. Dalton is trying to use the facilities before we hit the trail. There's one more look at the campsite. Nice little campsite. So now, as we go back to our campsite on Ahsub Lake, we are hoping that the bugs stop biting and the fish start. Yeah, getting ready to hit the trail as soon as D gets back. It is 9:15. We are moving right along on the hiking trail. We're probably close to halfway done, aren't we, D? Maybe not that far. Pretty close. But here's still getting bit up. Here's a good example of just how the crews come out and help keep these paths clear, these trails clear. So thanks to all those who put in the effort to keep these trails open and available. And I believe a lot of them are volunteers. We just stumbled across this, which we think there's a trail, so we think this goes to one of the campsites. But there's some remnants of some old logging implements, some big saw blades that are bent up, twisted up. So we're gonna go up here and try to check out the, see if this is the campsite. And the rest of the trail Goes on that way. This was that campsite. Turnoff was marked by those old logging equipment. Looks like somebody pulled a no-no and pulled the fire grate out of the fire pit. So it wasn't us. It was like this when we got here. What's the tick count so far?
33.
33. None embedded so far that we know of. So that's good. There's a little lake down there. I think there's a trail. Ah, Jesus. Some mosquitoes, deer flies, black flies, everything. So we're gonna water up, take a short break, and then get back on the trail. Lake. Problem is, I can't get to it. So I got this little slough here. My feet are wet, which is not ideal. But so what I'm gonna do is scoop away as much crap as I can, and then I'm gonna filter this, pre-filter this through a bandana before filtering it through the water filter. So here's the finished product of that water filtered. It's pretty darn clear. It's always going to have a little bit of that natural brownish color from the tannins in the water from all the plants, but pretty wild. So here's where we made our mistake yesterday, which didn't really matter, but it's interesting to see. So we come up the trail from here. There's a rock cairn that usually marks a trail or marks some juncture in the trail. So as we come here and you look, I don't know how well you can see that on camera, but you can clearly see the trail there. And that's the way we went, even though you can't really see it from here. But once you come up in front, then you can see the trail. So our intention was to go that way yesterday, and in reality we made this turn and went up that way. So now we just came back to this, and we came from that way, the other side of the loop, and now we'll go back. So we've completed a loop basically, and now we're gonna head back to our campsite. We got camp set back up. We both took a swim in the lake, which felt amazing, even though it's cold. We got all of our stuff set back up. Pretty tired. It's almost 4 o'clock. So we got the hammock set up here. I'm gonna try to take a little nap. And Dalton's splitting up some firewood. So, and if we feel up to it, we might try to go fish. Just laying here, chilling in the hammock, reflecting over the last couple days. So we hiked the Disappointment Trail, or the Old Pine Bluff Trail, I think it's called as well, up and over Disappointment Mountain, and it was not disappointing. The trail itself was rugged, was difficult, challenging. There was barely ever any flat footing. The trail was littered with roots and rocks and always uneven and a lot of up and down, up and down. It's definitely very challenging. The bugs were absolutely horrendous. They almost ruined the experience, especially for me. But, you know, it's part of it. But it is, you know, it's 2020, the year of the COVID-19 coronavirus. So we also, we definitely practice social distancing on the trail because Junior there was in the lead, and I couldn't keep up with his cross-country pace. So we were always well more than 6 feet apart. And he also, being in front, he took the brunt of the ticks. So in addition to this being the year of the coronavirus, you know, Dalton's trying to complement that with Lyme disease. But no, actually, they were wood ticks, so they don't carry Lyme disease. But what was your final tick count?
For the trail, I'm not sure. It was over 100.
Yeah, it was.
But currently, for the whole trip, we're at 111? No, 121.
121 ticks. He picked off himself, off his pant legs mostly. And the vast majority of those were on the trail, over 100 on the trail. We did have, both of us had ticks embedded that we had to pull out with tweezers. So the ticks were kind of a pain too. But in all honesty, they're much more of a annoyance for me. I'd much rather flick them off and even pluck some out with tweezers as opposed to just getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. Dinner going for night 4. We've got, Dalton's got some vegetable beef soup. I've got some ham and bean soup. And then we're gonna complement that with some bannock camp bread. So once these get going, I'll flatten that out and put it in the frying pan. Bake some bread. It's still pretty windy. It's 6 o'clock. We were thinking this was an early dinner, but it's really about normal. We were hoping it would calm down and we could actually catch a fish and maybe fry it up for a late dinner, which we still might do, or try. But here we are back at Ahsub Lake. I've been saying Ahsub, it's Ahsub, A-H-S-U-B. So we're cooking up dinner here, and we have a visitor. This guy. I don't know if he crawled all the way up that steep grade, or it looks like he came out of the ground, like he was buried under that grass. Yeah, what's up, dude? You hungry? Alright. Thought our little turtle friend who surprised us here, I thought maybe it was stuck because it hasn't moved, but it's like shifting side to side. And then we thought, I wonder if it's laying eggs, like that's its nest and it's laying eggs. Or it's not doing anything. Now there it goes. See how it's shifting kind of side to side? Here's what the bannock camp bread looks like. It's just about done. And it tastes really good. I don't know if it does. I mean, it does anyway, but out here it tastes that much better. The little turtle's still laying away. Keeps shifting side to side, so I think it's definitely laying eggs. Here we go, ham and bean soup with some extra veggies. And then over here, we've got the bannock camp bread. Beginning of day 4. Little turtle is still going strong. She's a champ. She's been laying eggs for about 3.5 hours straight. We're having a late dinner snack, whatever you want to call it, of potatoes and onions. And I got a pot of tea there and got a cup of little whiskey in it. Kind of enjoying our last night. We've got a full moon tonight, I believe, so maybe we'll get some of that later. For last night, the sun has set and the moon is 4 hours since we've seen it. It was 9:40 on our last night, and we just had two. It was dark. There's a full moon, but as you can see, I don't know if you can even see the lake. We just had two canoes, a group of 4, paddling across the lake. Looks like they were trying to come here to camp. So hopefully for their sake, the next site is open. But awfully late to be paddling.
And they came out of not disappointment.
No, they didn't come out of disappointment.
Jitterbug?
Yeah.
They're coming back.
So that group that came through, they must be... There's not a campsite over there. This is the furthest campsite this direction, so they must be just out under the full moonlight fishing. Yeah, there they go. They're going along the shoreline there. So they must be fishing.
I haven't heard a line yet. I think they're lost.
Either that, maybe they're just going out for a night paddle under the full moon.
Maybe.
Anyway, Dalton's like, maybe they're lost. I mean, they could be lost. It is dark. My guess is they're at the other campsite on this lake, and they're just out for a night paddle, because it was pretty windy today, and now it's very calm, and there is a full moon, so it is pretty darn bright out for night. So let's see, looks like it's beyond it. Not quite beyond that tree. Okay, final update. That group looked like they came in from the other direction, from Jitterbug Lake, and it looked like they were coming to this campsite, trying to come to this campsite. They saw that we were here, and so they turned around and they looped back around, and now we're seeing like flashlights, headlamps across the lake at the other campsite. So they were definitely coming here. It looked like they were, but then they didn't turn around right away, so it was kind of strange. So fireside chat. We've got the camera on the fire because that's the only thing you can see. But we're just reminiscing about the last 2 days, the hiking trail, and I don't think we videoed any of this. So at one point today, we're coming in, and the trail turned, but it wasn't super significant. I mean, the obvious trail continued to go, and it actually went right into a water access campsite, and we both and actually it was the trail from the water access campsite, the trail to their crapper, and we walked right past the crapper, and neither one of us saw it. And we almost walked right into their campsite, and basically we were about 15 feet, 20 feet from, and Dalton's like, yeah, this is campsite because there's a tent right there. Fortunately, I don't think anybody was physically there at the time. They must have been out fishing or something. This was on Disappointment Lake. And yeah, if they were there, we scared the shit out of them, and they just like stayed quiet and hunkered down in their tent. But we obviously quickly realized that was not the hiking trail. That was the trail to that campsite. So just like our campsite, basically, you know, we take our shitter trail and hang a left, and it turns right into the hiking trail. So we eventually found the trail, obviously, and made it back to our site, but that was pretty funny. We were just reminiscing about that, and I didn't think I filmed any of that because it was a little bit confusing and a little bit embarrassing at the same time. So anywho, yeah, fireside chat last night. Full moon.
Is it past the tree now?
It is past the tree, but it's behind some clouds. That turtle's gone. And man, we were just talking around the fire and didn't have headlamps out. I just got one. And yeah, we wanted to see her cover the nest up. And you can't even tell. Like, I think right there, you can kind of see that dark spot. I think that's where the eggs are. But it's really difficult to tell where the turtle was. She was here for like 4 hours laying eggs.